As part of this third chapter, we are going to understand mainly two topics. First one is arrays and second one is strings. Arrays, strings. Along with the strings, we are going to learn string buffer as well as string builder, and we are going to learn a small topic that is called command line arguments. Command line arguments. These are the three topics that we are going to learn as part of this chapter. Okay, cool guys. Arrays, strings, string buffer, string builder and command line arguments. Alright, let's get started. We already discussed about what is a variable and what is a data type. What is the purpose of variables, guys? Variable, it is used to store the data. When we are writing a program is used to perform some operation. My program wants to perform some operation. It wants to do some calculations. It wants to do some manipulations. The program is going to deal with data. My program is going to deal with data. So to store that data, we are going to use a concept called variable. We will use a concept called variable. To create a variable, we are going to use data type. What is the purpose of data type? It is used to specify type of the data. It is used to specify type of the data. For example, integer a. Here I am creating a variable with the type as integer. I am creating a variable with the type as integer. Bus. No need to write. You will get the notes. Close your books. Just listen to the class. You no need to write any notes. Just listen. After the class is completed, I will share these notes. Okay. Variable is used to store the data. Data type is used to specify type of the data. For example, integer a. Integer a. Here I am declaring a variable. This is called variable declaration. This is called variable declaration. Now here a is equal to 20. A is equal to 20. What is the meaning of that? It is variable initialization, variable declaration and variable initialization we are doing. Now here guys, I want to store two values. Can I do like this? Integer b is equal to 20, 30. How many values I can store into a variable? Only one value. You can store only one value into a variable. If I am declaring a variable integer b, I can store only 20 or I can store only 30. But I cannot store both values into variable. So this is invalid. This is invalid. Why this is invalid? We can store only one value. You cannot store two values. Now let us take an example. I want to represent one student marks. One student is there, a 10th class student is available. I want to represent student marks and I want to calculate grade of the student. I want to calculate the grade of the student. If I want to calculate grade of the student, I need to store all the student marks. In mathematics, how many marks he got? In social, in science, in Telugu, in English, in Hindi, in physics. So there are 5 subjects are available in the class. I want to store all the subjects marks of one student. 5 subjects are available. So how many variables I need? How many variables I need? I need 5 variables. How can I represent that data? Can I represent that data like this? So integer subject 1 is equal to sum 78 marks available. Integer subject 2 is equal to sum 98 marks available. Integer subject 3 is there, some 79 marks available. Integer subject 4 available, it is some 90. Integer subject 5 is equal to 95. Integer subject 6 is equal to some 87. So like this, I am able to represent one student marks. One student having 5 subjects. So I have taken 5 variables to store the data. Here, if I take 5 variables to store the student data, for one student, how many variables I have taken? One student. Can you tell me what is the purpose of variable here? Variable is used to store the data. What is the purpose of data type? Data type is used to specify type of the data. Variable declaration and variable initialization. Can I store like this? Into b is equal to 20 comma 30? No. Whenever you create a variable, you can store only one value like this. Integer I is equal to some 45. Here this is valid. Integer I is equal to 45, that is valid. Integer b is equal to 20 comma 30, this is invalid. We can store only one value, but I am trying to store 2 values, that is invalid. Now store student subject wise marks. I want to store student subject wise marks. Subject 1 is one variable, subject 2, subject 3, 4, 5, 6. I have taken 6 variables to represent one student marks. Now in the class there are 50 students are available. Are you guys getting my point? 50 students are available. For every student 6 subjects are available. Now I want to store all the students, all the subjects marks. How many variables I need? 300 variables I need. For one student, how many variables are required? 6 subjects are required. Store one student subject wise marks. We need 6 variables for 6 subjects for one student. I want to store 50 students subject wise marks. So now how many variables I need? We need 300 variables to store all the students marks. Suppose in my class, now in the online 125 people are available, in the online 40 people are available. All the students, all the marks I want to store. Is it easy? Is it recommended to create those many variables in the program? It is not at all recommended. For one student, we are taking 6 variables. If we take 50 students, 50 into 6, I need to create 300 variables only to store the data. I need to create 300 variables only to store the data. Is this recommended solution? Is this recommended solution to store the data? This is not the recommended solution to store the data. Why this is not recommended to store the data? It is a lengthy process. Unnecessarily we are creating so many variables to store the data. Our program will have so many variables only to store the data. This is not the recommended approach. I need one variable, in that I want to store multiple values. Are you guys clear with my point? I have a variables in the Java. By using variable, I can store only one value. So here integer, int is a variable data type. Int is a primitive data type. When we use primitive data type, you can store only one value into that variable. If I store only one value into that variable, for my requirement that is not matching. 50 students are available. Every student is having 6 subjects. 50 into 6, I need to create 300 variables. If I have 1000 students in the school, 1000 into 6, 6000 variables I need to create. Is that recommended? So it is not recommended. Now what we need? I need to have one variable. In that variable, I should be able to store multiple values. That's where arrays comes into picture. What is array? Array is a data type which is used to store multiple values into single variable. If I go for primitive type variables, only one value we can store. So I want to store 50 students subject wise marks. We need 300 variables to store all the students marks. Okay, this is not recommended. This is not recommended because so many variables we have to create. So many variables we have to create. To overcome this problem, we can go for arrays concept. We can go for arrays concept. Now, arrays, very important concept in every programming language. So what is array? Array is a referenced data type. First of all, array is a referenced data type. It is a referenced data type. It is used to store multiple values. It is used to store multiple values. So if you create one array, in that array you can store multiple values. Suppose one student available, I want to store one student marks. One student marks you can create in one variable if you go for array concept. If you go for primitive type, for one student 6 variables are required. If you go for array concept, for one student, one array is sufficient. So array is a referenced data type. It is used to store multiple values. Arrays will support in arrays size is fixed. In arrays size is fixed. Whenever you are creating the array, you need to tell what is the size of the array. That means how many values you want to store into array, you need to define size of the array. Array size is fixed number. Whenever you want, you cannot increase. Whenever you want, you cannot decrease. Array's size is fixed. At the time of creating the array, we have to specify how many values you want to store into that array. Okay? And another thing is, arrays supports homogeneous elements. What is the meaning of that? Homogeneous. Homogeneous nothing but similar type of elements. Right? Arrays supports homogeneous elements. That means same type of elements. That means if you want to store integer values, only integer values you need to store into array. If you want to store double values, only double values you need to store. So array is a referenced data type which is used to store group of values which are belongs to same data type. Now, what is the definition for the array? Array is a referenced data type. Array is a container. I can say that. What is the meaning of container? Container means one box. Array is like a box. By using that box, we can store group of values, collection of values which are belongs to same data type. What is a data type? What is a data type? Data type is used to specify what type of data we want to store. Do you want to store into type? Do you want to store Boolean type? Do you want to store double or long or float or char? What you store collection of elements with the same type. So if anybody asks you what is array? Array is a container which is used to store collection of elements. Elements nothing but a value. Whatever the value that you are storing into array, that is called as a element with same type. Array is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same type. What is the meaning of same type? Same data type. Same data type. That is called homogeneous. That is called homogeneous. Heterogeneous means different type. Heterogeneous means the type can be anything. Homogeneous means type should be same. Can you guys read these points? What is array? Array is a reference to the data type. Why we are going for arrays? Arrays are used to store multiple values. Array size is fixed. We cannot change in runtime. Once you have created the array, you cannot change the size of the array. We cannot change size. We cannot change size in runtime. That means increasing the size and decreasing the size of the array is not possible. And arrays supports only homogeneous elements. So what is the definition for array? Array is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same type. Now, syntax for working with arrays. Arrays syntax. How to create a array? Okay. It is also divided into two parts. First one is array declaration. First one, array declaration. Second one, array creation. Declaration is available, creation is not available. Creation is also called as instantiation. Creation is called as instantiation. Alright. Declaration we will do like this. What is the data type? What is the data type? That braces represents it is a array. Data type space variable name. Data type space variable name, that is called array declaration. That is called array declaration. When it comes to array creation or array instantiation, it is called as variable name is equal to data type of size. At the time of creating the array only, we need to specify size of the array. We need to specify size of the array. That means what type of data you want to store into array, that you have to specify. Array declaration and array creation. This process we can do in the single line also. This process we can do in the single line also. Creating and instantiating the array in the single line. Right? How can we do that? Data type of this bracket space variable name is equal to new data type of size. Size is mandatory to create the array. You can declare the array like this and you can create the array like this. Array declaration and array creation. Instead of doing that in the two lines, you can do that in the single line also. Data type and variable name is equal to new data type with size. With size. For example, I want to create one array with into type. I want to create one array with the into type. Integer array. Integer array ARR is equal to new int of 5. New int of 5. What is the meaning of int array is equal to new int of 5? I have created one integer array with the size as 5. That means how many values I can store into that array? Only 5 values. Can I increase that count when my program is running? Can I increase the size of the array? Can I decrease the size of the array? Array's size is always fixed in Java. Array's size is always fixed in the Java. It is mandatory. It is mandatory to specify size of the array when we are creating the array. Once array is created, we cannot increase or we cannot decrease the size of the array. We cannot increase or we cannot decrease. And here my array type is integer. That means what kind of values I can store? Only int values. Only int values. Because if you read this definition, array is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same type. So here I created array with the int type, right? So I can store only int values and I can store only 5 values. These are two drawbacks of the arrays. First one is size is fixed. Second one is it supports only homogeneous values. Okay, how to overcome these problems we will discuss in the future classes. In the future, there is a concept called collections. There is a concept called collection. When we go for collection, we can overcome these problems. That is a future topic. Got it? Fine. Can you read these points, guys? What is array? Don't think that, sir, array means it is a word we use it to call our friends. Array, come here. Array, go there. No, that is not that. This is different. That array is different. This array is different. In the interview, when they ask you what is array, you need to give this definition. Array is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same data type. Let me write it. With the same data type. Syntax. Array declaration and array creation. Right. So array is a referenced data type in the Java. So primitive data types available, referenced data types available. Int, boolean, char, double, long, float. These all are primitive types. If you go for a primitive type variable, you can store only one value. But I want to store multiple values. For that I am going for arrays. Read the points. What is array? Array is a referenced data type. It is used to store multiple values. That means collection of values, group of values we can store by using array. Array's size is fixed or it is changeable. Array's size is always fixed. At the time of creating the array, you have to specify the size also. At the time of creating the array, we have to specify the size also. Array's size is fixed. We can't change the size in runtime. We can't change the size in the runtime. Arrays supports homogeneous elements. Nothing but same type of elements we can store. If anybody asks you definition, it is a container which is used to store collection of elements with the same data type. Array declaration, data type, these braces will represent it is a array. Sir, this brace, do I need to write only here? Can I write this data type before the variable? Can I write this braces after the variable? Anything is fine. Brace you can write anywhere. You can write like this also. Data type, variable name, you can write here also. You can write here also. You can write brace here also. You can write the brace here also. That is also valid. Brace you can write anywhere. Brace you can write anywhere. Now, array creation. At the time of creating the array, size is mandatory. That is important. At the time of creating the array, size is mandatory. Size represents how many elements we can store in the array. What is the purpose of array size? What is the purpose of array size, guys? Array size represents how many values we can store into array. Array size represents how many values we can store into array. Array will store the values based on indexes. Now, I am creating one array with the size is equal to 5. Let us see here. It is one container. Array is one container. It is going to create like this. It is one box. Array is nothing but a box. Array is nothing but a container. Integer array is equal to new of integer of 5. I am storing 5. I am giving the size as a 5. That means here 5 boxes will be created. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So like this, 5 boxes are created in the array. These boxes are called as indexes. Index position will start from 0. Array will store the data in the indexes. The index position in the array will start from 0. So this is 0th index, first index, second index, third index and fourth index. So like this, internally JVM will allocate the memory for the array. Integer array is equal to new integer of 5. That means I am creating my array with the size as 5. Data type as integer. So array will store the data based on indexes. Why it is maintaining the indexes? For retrieval purpose. Tomorrow, why we are storing the data? In future we are going to retrieve the data. Today I am storing the data means in future I am going to retrieve the data. So to store the data, to retrieve the data, array is using indexes. Index represents position. Array is a container which is used to store the group of values with the same type. Arrays will store the data based on indexes and arrays index always will start from 0. Sir, I don't like 0. Can I start from 1? This index is already defined by Java. You cannot change that. Array's index position always will start from 0. Are you guys clear with my point? If size is n, the array size is n, the last index will be n minus 1 because it is starting from 0. If size is 5, what is the last index? 5 minus 1. If size is n, n minus 1 is the last index of the array. If size is 10, 10 minus 1 will be the last index. Why n minus 1 is the last index? Because it is starting from 0. Why it is starting from 0? That is defined by Java. Sir, 2 is my lucky number. Can I start from 2? That is not possible. We cannot change that because this is the syntax. This is given by programming language. We have to follow that. Right. Array will store the data based on indexes. Array size represents how many values we can store into array. Array will store the data. Array will store the data based on indexes. Array index always will start from 0. Array index always will start from 0th position. Okay, so array size minus 1 will be the last index of the array. Okay, fine. We are able to create the array with the size. Is the size mandatory? Is the size optional? Can we check it? Yes, let me take one program. Okay. Yes, I'm taking one class name. I'm taking it as array demo. Don't take the class name as arrays because arrays is a predefined class in the Java. There is a class called arrays. We should not use predefined class names for our classes. So that's why I'm going to take the class name as array demo. Now let me write public static void main string arguments. Okay, here I'm taking integer array of array. What I am doing now? What I have done? I have just declared the array. Did I create the array? I have declared the array. I have just declared the array. Now save this. I'm going to make it as array demo dot java. My file name and my class name both are same. My file name and class name both are same. Let me go to command prompt. And let me run the program. CMD command prompt. I'm opening Java C space array demo.java. Am I able to compile? That means, is my syntax valid or my syntax not valid? Valid. My syntax is valid. Now I am going to do like this: new integer of array. I have created the array. I have declared the array and I have created the array. Is my syntax valid? Let me try. Java C array demo.java. What happened, guys? Array dimension is missing. What is the meaning of array dimension? Size. Array dimension nothing but size. So at the time of creating the array, size is mandatory. Is that my statement? Is that compiler statement? That means Java language provided some set of rules. While doing the Java programs, while developing the Java programs, we have to follow those rules. So what is the rule? Array should store only homogeneous data. Array's size is mandatory to create the array. Once the array is created, you cannot change the size. You cannot increase the size and you cannot decrease the size. Okay. Now let me correct this. I am keeping the size as 5. So what is the meaning of 5? I can store 5 values in the array. Let me do this. Java C array demo.java compiled successfully. Java space array demo. Am I getting anything? Am I getting anything? I'm not getting anything. Why? Is there any print statement available? No. I have just declared the array and I have created the array. So array will store the data based on indexes. Always index will start from 0. Now in this array I want to store some data. In the first position I want to store the data as 100. I want to store the data as 100. In the second position 101. In the third position 102. In the third position 102. In the fourth position I want to store some Raja, and fourth position I want to store some Rani. Is it valid or it is not valid? It is not valid. Why it is not valid? Arrays are used to store group of values. Use with the same data type. What is the data type of my array? Integer. So what kind of values I can store? Only into values I can store. Only into values I can store. Raja Rani is not integer type data. Raja Rani is string type of data, group of characters. Okay. So here in this fourth position I will store 103. In the fifth position I will store 105 or 104, basically anything. Okay. So like this I want to store my data. Sir, array is created, that is fine. How to store the data? To store the data or to get the data, we need to use index of the array. Array last index is size minus 1 and array index always will start from 0. Now if I want to store the data into that array, what is the name of the array? ARR. Array of 0. Array of 0 is equal to 100. Array of 0 is equal to 100. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? I am storing the value 100 in the 0th index. I am storing the value 100 in the 0th index. Okay. So now similarly, I want to store in the first index. How can I do that? Can I do like this? Array of 1 is equal to 101. Is it valid? Instead of 101, can I store 100 also? Value can be anything, na? You can store any value. Value can be anything. Okay? So index, I'm using 0 index 100 value. First index also, I'm storing the 100. That is possible. So if you want to store same data in all the positions, you can do that. If you want to store the different data also, you can do that. Value can be anything. Value can be anything. Okay. Similarly, I'm going for array of index 2 is equal to 102. Array of 2 is equal to 102. Similarly, we are going to store array of, what is the last index? Array of 4 is equal to 104. In between 1 only missing, na? Let me write that as well. Array of 3 is equal to 103. array of 4 is equal to 104. This is called array initialization. I'm storing the data into array. I'm storing the data into array. Are you guys clear? Yes. Shall I do that in the program? Yep. Array of 0 is equal to 100 and array of 1 is equal to 101. Then array of 2 is equal to 102 and array of 3 is equal to 103 and array of 4 is equal to 104. That's it. How many indexes are there? There are 5 indexes are available. There are 5 indexes are available. Are you guys clear with my point? Yes. Now, can I run this program? Can I compile and run this program? Is it valid? Is it valid or not? Yes, it is valid. Java C array demo.java. I'm able to compile my program. What is the output? What is the output? No output. Why no output? We are not printing anything. I'm just declaring the array and I am just storing the data into array. Now, to store the data or to retrieve the data from the array, we will use index. Either to store the data or to retrieve the data, we are going to use index only. We are going to use index only. Now, I want to print the element which is in the 0th position. How can I do that? I want to print the data which is available in the 0th position. How can I do that? System.out.println of array of what is the index? 0. That's it. Either to store the data or to retrieve the data, we are going to use index only. Array index always will start from 0. Alright. Save this program. Java C array demo.java. Array demo.java. Compiled successfully. Java space array demo. Am I getting 100? Yes. Why I am getting 100? Because array of 0, that means array 0th index value, it is going to retrieve. Can I directly get the last index value? Can I get the last index value? Yes, 4. Array of 4 I am giving. That means index is available. In any index you can store the data. From any index you can retrieve the data. So the beauty of the arrays is indexes. Array is a container. In that container you can store group of elements. You can understand where your elements are storing also, because array will maintain indexes. Index always will start from 0. Alright. Now I am trying to retrieve array of 0 index value, array of 4 index value. 0 represents first index, 4 represents last index. My array size is 5. My array size is 5. Okay. Save this program. Java space array demo.java. Java space array demo. Am I able to get those two values? Okay. Perfect. Now I want to retrieve the data from the array index 5. First of all, array index 5 is available or array index 5 is not available. Value. No, why? Size last index will be size minus 1 because it is starting from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So array of 5, if I execute that, what will happen? Can you try that? Can we check it? Can we check it now? Java C array demo dot Java. Java C array demo dot Java. Java space array demo. What happened? We got one exception, boss. Array index out of bound. I know 0 to 4 only, but you are asking 5th index position. I don't know where is the 5th index. I am bounced. Array index out of bound exception. Which index position you are asking? That index I don't know. That index I don't know. Now, can I do like this here? Array of 5 is equal to 105. Then I am storing the 5th index value. Size is 5. Size is fixed. So, can I execute this line? Now, currently see in which line number we are getting the error? 16th line. 16th line means this is the line we are getting the error. Now, save this program. Save this program. Java C space array demo dot Java. Now Java space array demo. Now where it is failing? In the 13th line only failing. 13th line means this one or this one. This is the 13th line. It is failing here only because whatever the index you are trying to store, that index is not available. Size is created as only 5. 0 to 4 only available. If you try to store in the 5th index, it is not going to accept. Are you clear with my point? Yes. Good. Good. Now, let me remove this. Let me remove this. Now I am creating array size with 3 only. Now I am creating array with the size 3 only. 0, 1, 2. Is it valid? Is it valid? Yes. Why it is valid? Size is 3. I am storing only in the 3 positions and I am trying to retrieve from the only 3 position. Here I am storing the data into array and here I am retrieving the data from the array. Now save this program. Save this program. Java C space array demo dot Java. Java space array demo. Am I able to get all the 3 values? Yes, this program is perfectly valid. This program is perfectly valid. Okay, this is my array program. Okay. Now, I don't want to print like this. I don't want to write that SOP multiple times. I want to print array elements by using some loop. I want to use a for loop to print the data of the array. Can you guys try? Can you write a for loop to print the data of the array? Can you try that? Yeah. Just write it. People who are having at least. Can you write the logic? Can you write a program which is used to print the data of the array? Can you write a program which is used to print the data available in the array? Array is available, index available, I have stored the data also. How can you print data available in the array? How can you print the data available in the array? How can you print the data available in the array? How can you print the data available in the array? loop which is used to print the data available in the array. For loop, not for each, for loop. Then, can you show me? Value can be anything. To store the data as well as to retrieve the data, we are using indexes, right? Array index will start from 0. Okay, now see here. In order to retrieve the data from the array by using loop, for integer I is equal to 0. I am starting my loop from the 0. How many times my loop should execute? 3 times or 4 times? 3 times. Why only 3 times? The size is 3. That means at max only 3 values can be available in the loop. My loop I am starting from 0. Now, can I give here I less than 2? Forget about it. 0, 1, 2. So less than 2 means I can give. It will execute only 2 times. How many times it should execute? 3 times. Can I give I less than or equal to 2? Yes or no? Can I give I less than or equal to 2? Yes. Then I can give I plus plus. Okay. Now here system dot out dot println of I. Of I or array of I? Array of I. So what this loop is going to do? Now observe the code. I am writing a for loop. First of all, what is the purpose of a for loop? What is the purpose of a loop? Basically, loop is used to execute the statements repeatedly. I want to execute system.out.println for multiple times. How much is the array size? Those many times I want to execute my statement. I want to print all the elements available in the array. For that, I have created one array. I have stored 3 values in the array. My array size is 3. I am storing 3 elements in the array. Now I want to print the data of that array. For that, I am writing a loop. I am going for loop. Size is 3. My loop should execute 3 times. Is there any use if I execute my loop for 4 times? Is there any use if I execute my loop for 10 times? No, because array size is only 3. That means my loop should execute only 3 times. Array size is 3. My loop should execute only 3 times. Are you guys getting my point? Yes. Integer I is equal to 0. I value I am starting from 0. 0 less than or equal to 2. Condition satisfied. Array of 0. This why I am starting if I start from 1, what is the problem? It will start from index 1. But my array index is 1. My array index is 0. So that is the reason I am starting my I value from the 0. If I start my I value from the 1, then what will happen? It will read this data. It cannot read this data. So whenever you are writing a loop to get the array data, your loop should start from 0. You have started from 100. What is the meaning of that? Yeah, so just I'm trying to tell you. So always when you are writing a loop to get the data from the array means indexes. That should come into your brain. Array means indexes. Array will store the data in the indexes. To get the data, we need to use an index. Array index will start from 0. So my loop should start from 0. My loop should start from 0. For int I is equal to 0. This is a variable declaration, variable initialization. I is a variable. I is a primitive type. We can store only one value. I is equal to 0. I less than or equal to 2. Okay. When I value is 0, now execute the code. 0 less than or equal to 2. Condition satisfied? True. Condition satisfied. Then when the condition satisfied, it will go inside the loop. What is there inside the loop? System.out.println array of 0. Array of 0 means what will happen? First it is going to print 100. It will print the 100. After that, I value will be incremented. After statement is executed, I value will be incremented. From 0, it will become 1. It is a post increment. It will become 1. I value is 1. 1 less than or equal to 2. 1 less than or equal to 2. Condition satisfied. Then again it will go to the loop. Array I value is 1. Array of 1. Array of 1 means it is going to print 101. 101. It is going to print that. 1 on 1. After printing this 1 on 1, I value will become 2. It started from 0. First statement executed, incremented to 1. Second statement executed. Now it became 2. I value became 2. 2 less than or equal to 2. Condition satisfied. Once the condition satisfied, then it will become array of 2. Array of 2 means 102. Array of 2 means 102. After printing this 102, I value will become 3. It is incrementing, right? I value will become 3. 3 less than or equal to 2. Condition is failed. It will come out from the loop. Am I able to print the data by using a for loop? Yes. Let's try this. Let's try this. Save this program. Am I able to get all the data? Yes, I'm able to get all the data. Look at this program. For loop is like size 40. Later, I am writing system.out.println arr.length. Now, see here,